Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the longest name on YouTube. I'm your host, Psychotronic Squirt Gun. This is chaotic comic book cover displays and more with friends. Today, Mike, Easy Comic Reader, couldn't make it. Some kind of big works happening nearby his house, and it's super loud, apparently. So yeah, but we got our usual suspects here, you guys. We got Rob, Cheap Comic Collector,
Hey guys.
and we got Will, Cupo Comics, slaying it.
What's
Playing
up?
it over at Gary's yesterday too. Live.
10-1-1. It was fun.
The 10-1-1s.
That was a good time. It was a good time. You guys should check it out if you haven't checked out the 10-1-1. Perfect way to ingratiate yourself to somebody who from the comic community who you may not be familiar with.
Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna say hi to the few people who jumped in. You know, we got Z, Zodiac, the Fantastic Three today. But yeah, ordinarily it's 4. Thank you for being here. We got Swagda. What up, man? Thank you for being here. You know we love you. And we got our other co-host here. Man, it's just too noisy for you right now, Mike. I get it, bro. But it's cool. Thank you for being here anyway, man. I appreciate you. You know? So yeah, let's kick this off. You know, I'm gonna kick it off with another with one of the same titles I've shown recently. And this is 1964. 1964, the Doom Patrol 88, right? Oh, we got Higgy. What up, Higgy? What we got? Friar Tuck. Thank you so much for being here. We got Damien. Man, this is great. Love you guys. But yeah, what do you guys think? Doom Patrol. This is the last one I grabbed. Tomorrow I'm going to go do another fell swoop, as I said before, into Olympia. And I'm going to hit up that Half Price Books outlet store. That's what it is. That's why I get them all the time, these comics for 50 cents. It's just everything, 50 cents. And then I'm going to go into my the LCS that's not so L, right, for me, which is Danger Room Comics in Olympia, Washington. And I'm actually thinking about going to a Comic-Con, you guys, this summer in about a month and a half or so. There's the Summer Con, right? Puyallup, which is about 45 minutes from me. So maybe Damien out there, maybe you're someone else in the Pacific Northwest, maybe you're going to that. I normally go to Emerald Comic Con. I don't normally, actually haven't been going because, I don't know, kind of got disgruntled. 1978, Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man. 21, pretty cool cover. But yeah, I was going to Emerald Comic Con, and I don't know. It didn't seem. Look how clean this is, you guys. I got these at the eBay. Pretty dang cool, huh?
Yeah.
eBay score. I remember Emerald Comic Con, and that used to be just loaded with just all kinds of like bins. Here you go, Higgy. It's your Ring of Fire. I haven't seen your video yet, but there she is. And she's a brute. I don't know. It used to be cooler. It used to be more like, I don't know, grassroots, you guys. Maybe I should. I try not to judge too much, but it used to be like bins and bins of just cheap stuff and fun stuff. But I might go back to Emerald City Comic Con. I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. 21. Let's go for indie from the 80s. We got from 1987, Eclipse Comics, Mr. Monster, number 8. Got this for a quarter at Free Comic Book Day. Mr. Monster battles the Dollar Demons. It's cool. Even got a sticker on there, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not a part of the artwork, just so you guys know. Isn't that funny? Look at someone did something to the dollar bill. What's up with that? But yeah, love me some indies from the 80s. You guys know that. Look at that. It looks like McFarlane a little bit, his earlier work. But yeah, I go for this stuff, man. Holy cow. When I see it, the 80s. And, they didn't really have any agendas or anything. They were just trying to entertain people and break in, And I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the chat first and say hi to you guys. And then I'm going to turn it over to either Rob or Will. So I don't know which one you guys want to go, which one you want to go next, but which guy. But yeah, I'll check the chat really quick. Say hi to you guys. Let's get the guys back up here. I want to say hello to anyone I haven't. Comic Addicts, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, dude. Cool. Oh, so you're not hitting up SummerCon. Okay. Booked a vacation to Ashland. Okay, you did like it last year. That's good news. I heard about it, but I didn't go. We got Higgy here. We got Canadian Survivalist. And okay, I'm gonna switch this over to Rob. What do you think, Rob?
That works for me.
Cool.
The usual rotation.
Okay. Whoever's on top, Rob's on top, right?
Yeah, that way you can keep track, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if anybody was watching the auction, I think it was this last week. I was showing a coverless copy of X-Men number 69, and I got to keep it, so I decided to go ahead and print out my own cover. So I did my usual thing and went on and found them on the internet.
I love when you do that.
Printed it out, and now it's complete and it's mine, and I love it. And
it makes
I did do it a little bit differently this time. I didn't instead of laminating the cover because it was square bound, I just used a strip of archival tape to connect it, so it would actually be connected, and then left it paper. So I really like the way it turned out. It looks really neat.
Awesome. Nice. It makes me want to get coverless now.
Yeah,
I don't mind doing that.
If it's an old enough issue, that's the way I feel too. Is like, well, I can just print out my own pages. So it costs too much to print out every page, but
right. What up, Manny? Thanks for being here.
And then I got an AOK in the mail.
Nice.
From Mike, Easy Comic Reader. So
the man, the legend, Easy Comic Reader.
As usual, he loaded me up with cards to send to everyone with my notes on the back. So
very awesome, dude.
Yeah, I got all those. He does such. He while he was working all that overtime, he must have been
still hustling
going home
with
and taking out his frustrations on making these, because there's a ton here.
Hustling with the scissors, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the comics he sent me are all really cool. They got Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 458. And Donald looks a little odd, but if you're getting poked in the butt with a sharp thing, you might look like that too. And,
absolutely right.
It's from 1978, and it's got a Carl Barks story in it that I don't remember reading before. I may have.
Hey,
and it's just got one of his 10 pagers in it, and
cool.
I know there's a panel that I wanted to show. It was this guy's just the art on. It's such a cartoon style, and of course he was an animator before. He did comics at Disney Studios. He worked on Bambi and some other films.
Awesome.
And there's a Little Bad Wolf story in there. That's Little Bad Wolf is barely in. It's mostly about the Big Bad Wolf, which is usually more fun anyway.
Right.
And then it's got a Mickey Mouse backup with Goofy. Goofy's running a dude ranch, but he gets arrested for horse
Huh.
stealing a horse. So Mickey's got to figure that one out.
We got some Mr. Monster shout outs here. Playing Dungeon Dragons when he was reading it. Very cool.
And then we got Jetsons number 2 from Harvey.
Nice.
And I actually read this. It took me a little bit by surprise. I was expecting a better read because I thought it would be like a longer story. But it's just a bunch of 3 or 4 page stories all together in here.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they're actually reprints from Charlton's run. So I guess that's how Harvey did the Hanna-Barbera comics. I'm not sure.
People are complimenting you on printing out your own cover, Rob.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then Bullwinkle and Rocky number 1 from Marvel's Star Comics. And I read the first couple of panels on this. It looks spot on with the cartoon.
Cool.
It looks like it's going to be a really fun read. I haven't read it yet, but it's got the narrator. It starts out, and then the characters in the story correct the narrator, and just like they do on the cartoon series. So it looks like it'll be fun. And then he sent me some Dell 4-colors, which are awesome. So I got 4-color 544, based on the old Disney movie Rob Roy, The Highland Rogue.
Wow. Beautiful.
Which is a pretty hard movie to find to watch, actually. It was one of the few movies that I hadn't seen for years until I finally found one. Number 625, Beaver Valley. He sent me these True Life Adventure ones, which, I mean, the artwork, it's all nature, right? So, because
cool.
that was Disney's nature series.
Yeah.
I mean, the art is pretty awesome, but it's probably kind of a boring read.
Right. It's something to flip through. Yeah, we're just flipping through stuff like that and marveling.
But this one was neat, too, because they have an activity on the back where you can build your own, like, beaver dam model.
Wow.
Basically, you cut all those pieces.
Yeah, I love it. I
together.
kind of remember they did that a lot.
And so, yeah, I'll be doing that later. But
Comics Embraced. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
And then cool cover on this one were Water Birds and the Olympic Elk. And of course, Disney's True Life Adventures movies were basically nature films, but they kind of put a story to them. And unfortunately, nowadays they're most famous for. There was an episode in the series called White Wilderness. And there's this scene where all these lemmings go jumping off of a cliff.
Right.
And it got revealed like decades later that was actually faked. That it wasn't real. They faked it. They filmed like the same maybe 100 lemmings and were actually forcing them off the cliff over and over and over again.
Wow. Crazy, man.
So it's kind of nowadays the series gets a bad rap, but
sure.
Yeah,
in today's PC world, they ain't having that.
And there was also a scene in that movie where there was a polar bear like sliding down a hill, and like a baby polar bear. It was really cute. It was like, one of the highlights of the movie. And it turned out that they actually filmed that on a soundstage in Los Angeles. It wasn't out in the Arctic like they were saying, or
How about a little honesty? That's all we're asking.
Yeah, exactly. So
come on.
And then this one really blew me away. This is Uncle Scrooge number 27.
Nice.
And this is the original copy of the second appearance of Flintheart Glomgold, which is, I think, the first long Carl Barks story that I ever read where I knew that that's what I was reading, that I recognized, this is the good guy. This is the one who creates those awesome stories.
Right.
And if this was in mint condition, this is a $400 book.
Whoa. Wow.
I mean, it's nowhere near a mint condition. It's probably like $10, $15 maybe.
Well,
but
that's one nice thing to have. Like,
yeah, it's just like, I mean, thank you so much, Easy. I can't,
dude.
These are amazing.
Easy comic reader.
And then lastly, we got Woody Woodpecker. This is number 30
Kendall
from
Kid. What up, Kendall
1955.
Kid? Woody
And
Woodpecker.
again, I mean,
That's
you'd
what
think
I
Woody
grew up on that
Woodpecker
too.
would just be silly stories and so forth. And the story is kind of silly,
Yeah.
but I wanted to show you the art in this thing for
Yeah.
a funny
Cool.
animal story. This is, you know, I mean, they just don't draw stuff like this today.
Right. Yeah. The amount of detail that gets shrunk down into smaller panels, right?
Yeah. And it's just, so I did read the first story so far in this one. It was really good. And you know, those weren't trades. He just sent them to me, and I can't thank him enough.
Easy.
These are wonderful. So thank you, Mike.
Yeah, our brother, easy comic reader.
And
knows exactly what
yeah,
you like.
I actually, yeah, I probably teared up a little bit when I was opening the package. So
Well, stuff happens, you know. All right, James. Adios, bro. I'll catch you on one of your videos, man.
see you, James.
So we're gonna go to Will with the new comic book day. I think that's what's happening.
Maybe.
Yeah. Possibly.
All right.
So yeah, so I got home early today, so I got to read a few books. And by few, I mean two.
Oh, so you get to review actually a brand new comic.
There you go. We got Local Man number 10. I don't know if anybody's been reading this, but it's Tim Seeley and Tony Fleecs. Who also did Stray Dogs.
I've read some Tim Seeley. I haven't,
Yeah.
obviously read that.
But this is really cool because what he does is or what they've done with Local Man is they took this team called Gen 3, which was supposed to be like, from the Image 90s era, and then they kind of fast forwarded it to today's time. Right, so he's a little aged here. This is Cross Jack. So I think he's on here. He's
cool,
this guy. So, and they did a double cover because they do two stories in here.
Oh, it is a flip book, like the 90s.
Yeah, so it's got the two stories. So it's actually really cool. So one of the stories follows Cross Jack in the modern time. He comes back to town. He's not allowed to use his powers anymore because he got kicked off the team basically, and they're like, you can't use your powers.
Yeah.
So he becomes this guy called the Local Man, who does it, like wears a ski mask and kind of does things on the slick on the side. There's a whole, for you guys who haven't read it, I don't want to get too far into it, but there's like a whole conspiracy. This corporation moves into his town, creates like this training facility, creates all this havoc and mayhem in their town, pretty much destroys this little rural town. And then the backup story back here usually goes, it goes back in the past and kind of shows you some of the things Cross Jack did when he was on the team.
Cool.
So it's a fun story.
What issue was that? Was that issue 1?
This is issue 10.
10. Okay.
So it's been coming out for a while. It's on issue 10, so I could definitely spoil it for you. But for those who haven't started, reading it yet, there's already a trade out, and the second trade should be coming out relatively soon. So it's
really good. So Comics Embrace is really giving it a 4-star treatment, saying it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a real, you don't have to take my word for it, right? That's what they used to say on Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
But you don't have to take my word for it. Cobra Commander number 5. So this is the final issue of the Cobra Commander series.
Okay.
Out of this will be spinning off a Destro series, and I believe Scarlet was the other one. So we'll still have a G.I. Joe. So we had Duke and Cobra. Now we'll have Destro and Scarlet.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that they put this caution on the back of every issue. Content of this booklet is confidential. This unauthorized disclosure of information within is prohibited. Right? So they've already told me I can't tell you what's in here. I'll show you what's in here. But we're going to do it anyway. So basically this issue is Cobra Commander has yet to team up with Destro, right? So if you watch the G1 G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
Destro is part of Cobra. In
Yeah.
this book, he had yet to, sign on to Cobra.
Destro.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so Destro's the weapons maker. Cobra's the he's the guy who wants to create his own army.
And
And
Destro was
basically,
always threatening that to take over too. Like
yeah.
he was a main villain threat.
So, Destro's leading his company, and Cobra starts basically destroying his factories and his setup places. Kind of brings Destro in and says, "Hey, listen, I want your tech. In exchange for tech, I'll give you this power thing I've been working on." And he's like, "I'll give you unlimited power, and you give me some tech." And that kind of becomes the impetus for the start of Destro and Cobra working together. This is a reveal scene here. This is when we see Cobra in this book for the first time in his classic blue costume.
Cool. Hey,
Yeah. So before that, he's basically like this trench coat guy, and then we get him. And this Cobra is really not playing around. Like for demonstration purposes, he just shoots up a bunch of his own guys. And Destro's like, "You would kill your own men," and Cobra goes, "There are always more where they came from. Besides, fear and hate are useful for keeping people in line." So Cobra's not above, killing people. He tells this guy, who's part of the Dreadnoughts. It's part of the Dreadnoughts. He's like, "Hey, you can, you're free." He's like, "Don't say Cobra isn't merciful." He's like, "You can go." And the Dreadnought guy's like, "Nah, man. As soon as I turn my back, you're gonna shoot me there." So he's like, "I'm staying by."
Not trust, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and Cobra was like, "All right." He's like, "I guess you're smarter than you look." This Cobra was like, "Yeah, you can hang around. I won't shoot you in the back." But if he would have run, he would have shot him in the back. Here's Cobra rallying the troops. So this is pretty much the impetus for the start of Cobra. And then there's a backup story with Cobra-La. So
did Kirkman do the right? Did he write this?
No, this is Joshua Williamson.
Okay.
But Kirkman is kind of behind. He's writing Void Rivals.
Is he writing Scarlet or Destro or any of those up and coming?
I don't believe he is. I know he's not doing Destro. Actually, this book, if I remember, there's an ad for Destro at the back of this book, and it actually tells you who's going to write Destro. So Scarlet is actually Kelly Thompson.
Okay.
So Scarlet will be done by Kelly Thompson, and Destro will be done by Dan Waters.
Dan Waters. Okay.
So,
Dan Waters. I've read some stuff by him that I liked.
I think Kelly Thompson.
Kelly Thompson's hit or miss, but yeah.
Yeah.
Boo. Yeah, someone's booed me.
Double boo. I think Dan Waters, the creature from the Black Lagoon, recently.
Very cool.
All right. So now we're getting into some of the books I haven't read. I was just about to, speaking of Robert Kirkman, I was about to read Void Rivals.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we got a Transformer on the book. So this one is kind of, I haven't read it yet, so I'm not sure where, if a Transformer is going to pop up in here. But we already had Jetfire in Void Rivals, so he pops up relatively early. Here's a Transformer.
Awesome.
So Void Rivals and Transformers seem to be crossing over in this book, which is pretty cool.
Didn't Starscream make a cameo in the first one or something like that?
Starscream was in the first Duke book.
Okay.
Makes a cameo in Duke.
Dr. Von Chilla, thanks for being here. And yeah, thanks for catching us on the rewind. Really appreciate it.
All right. And here's some more from. So, yeah, this is a really good book. Lorenzo Di Felice works on it. He's actually a really good artist. He's worked with Kirkman before.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. All right. So this week is actually a really big haul. So,
yep.
I will tell you that I spent a pretty penny at the comic shop today, but there were a couple of $10 books in the purchase. and that's cover price. I'm not
Yeah.
telling you, like, some of the books were $10 cover.
And
So-
that was Amazing Spider-Man, I think.
Yes, and luckily, because I get a 20% discount, it looks like my $10 books were like $8. So
Well, there you go. And Danielle, don't apologize. Comics embraced. Come on, dude. Everyone, I mean, we're all passionate about comics. There's some writers I can't read, some artists I can't look at. And that's it.
oh yeah, like boo away if you really want to boo, because like, you know,
Yeah.
like you just said, opinions matter,
Yeah.
stories matter. You know, I didn't pick up, well, besides for the fact that I spent a pretty penny today. There were a couple of books I left on the shelf today because I was, you know, I wasn't in love with the stories per se. Like, they were cool stories, but I wasn't sure they were doing it for me. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to spend a lot of money, let me do it on some of the books that I really like.
Right. Hey guys,
So,
one
like-
of the Marvel execs came out and said they're gonna go back down to $4, right? $3.99 or something, right? Because this is getting ridiculous.
It is. I think they try, you know, they're trying the market. They push the prices. I think sales haven't been doing as well as, you know, they hoped. And I think they see that. So hopefully, you know, it works out. They did try something with the printers too, where they use cheaper paper. And that
Yeah.
also pissed people off because you had the same price or higher prices and worse paper. So but yeah, let's get into some of the books. Here we have Superman 14. So this looks like it could be a battle between the main man,
This is part 4.
Superman. Yep. House of Brainiac, part 4. Basically what happened the issue before is the Zarnians are fighting Lobo and Superman.
Yeah.
And they're basically like, hey, Lobo, you're pretty bad. You're a pretty bad man. They're like, why don't you join us? And Lobo's like, I'm nobody's like stooge. He's like, I don't work for anybody. And they're like, no, you're a leader. Like,
Yeah.
you could become the leader. And he's like,
No.
oh, well, why didn't you say so? And so he basically, at the end of the issue, it looks like he's about to turn on Supes. And yeah, when you open it to the first page, right, we've got, it looks like Lobo's punching Superman in the face and Superman's punching Lobo back in the face.
The art's really good, huh?
Yeah, so this is a really good thing.
That's pretty amazing.
So yeah, this is definitely a book. Superman has been my favorite of the two. This is Joshua Williamson and Sandoval, Pablo Sandoval. But yeah, I think they've really done a good job on this book. And before Sandoval, I believe it was Diggle.
Andy Diggle.
Andy Diggle's
Yeah.
working on the book. So
What up, Melodope? Melodope in the house. Thanks for being here, bro.
what's up, Mello? But House of Brainiac has been pretty good because you're working in Brainiac. You're working in Brainiac's son. You're working in the Superman family. And if you like Lobo, you've got Lobo in here. We have Superman in chains.
Yeah.
So
Kryptonite chains, I would imagine, right?
So,
Not
we'll leave it there. But yeah, this looked like a really good read. So I'm looking forward to getting into that one because the books have been really good. Now the next book I'm getting to has been okay. I think the premise of the story is pretty cool. Some of the some of what's happening in the book sometimes is very powerful, and sometimes I'm like, this is just dumb. But
yeah.
we have Catwoman number 65. So the premise of this is she's given 9 lives, and Catwoman decides to go out and do like every heist that she's ever wanted to do because she knows if she dies, she'll come back at least 8 times.
Who wrote that?
You know, and some of the stories are actually pretty touching. She does some good stuff, and then some of them she does, and you're like, why is she doing it? It's just
Has she died yet?
She has. I think she's died 6 times, to the best of her knowledge. Like she doesn't know if a certain mission she died and came back, and then died and came back.
Is that a Teenie Howard writer or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Teenie Howard's been writing it. took over the book somewhere in the 50s, I think, or no, it was earlier than that. I think it was in the 30s. So it's been relatively good. The artists have been kind of changing on the book, so I don't know if it's in like a place of flux where they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next, but there hasn't really been a solid artist, I think, on this book in the last 3 issues.
Okay.
So every issue the art kind of changes. This art is, I don't know, it's interesting. It's colorful. It almost has like a 3D effect, or pops out of the page on you. So
Okay.
it's not.
Yeah, I tried reading Tinny Howard during the X-Men when she was on X-Men, and I was just like, I was out. But you can't hold people to their past,
Right. Yeah, so I enjoyed this, but Joelle Jones was actually the first.
Oh yeah, I remember she was on that. Yeah.
The original writer, and she was on it for 20-something issues. And then somebody else took over for like 2 or 3 issues. Who was it who took over for like a couple of issues? It's the same guy who does the White Knight books, and I don't know why I'm Sean Murphy.
Okay.
Sean Murphy took over for like 2 or 3 issues after Joelle Jones. But to make a long story short, besides explaining what Catwoman is doing in this book, they've set it up so that she's actually pissed off a bunch of people, and now they're all going to work in tandem to.
This is how writers work, the what ifs. Like, what if? What can I think of? What ifs? Like,
Right.
What if she had 9 lives? What would she do?
Right. Exactly. And apparently it's piss off a bunch of people, because that's what she's been doing in the book.
Yeah.
Here's a Stephanie Phillips book, Grimm indie book. This one's not bad. I've been sticking with it. This is another what if. What if the daughter of the Grim Reaper
Cool.
found out that she was the daughter of the Grim Reaper, and next in line.
I'm slowly looking at the modern indies again, slowly getting back into it.
Yeah.
I hear I'm missing some good stuff.
Yeah, so this one's it's good. It's slow. It's a very slow burn. So if you want instant action, do not pick this one up.
No. Cool.
But also, if you're interested in the macabre and the underworld and those kind of things, it might be worth a pickup. So what they're doing now, and I forget the character on the cover's name, but what they've been doing with the last few issues is they're giving you the background now, or origin stories of a lot of the characters in the book.
Right.
So that's where we're at now. We find out why they're in hell. We find out why they're reapers. Most of these characters in the book are reapers. So they basically ferry over the souls of the dead.
Stephanie Phillips, right? She's the writer?
Yes.
Okay. I think she did some Batman work or something. I remember.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. She's done a couple of things, honestly. I think she might have done some Miss Marvel books too. But Captain Marvel, not Miss Marvel. Sorry. All right. We'll pull this out of the bag at some point, but we got Blood Hunt number 2.
Okay.
This is the red band. We'll do it now. I should have brought a scissor. I do have a really not sharp scissor, but I do have a blade. Let's try the blade.
Rock and Robbie said, that's how I keep up with this stuff, is I watch Rock and Robbie, right? I like his optimism, you know what I mean? But I just don't believe half the stuff he says. But I like him. He's a cool guy.
All right, let's get this out of the bag. But Blood Hunt. So when we left off with issue 1, and I think we've had a lot of time since issue 1. Basically, we found out. Should I tell everybody who the main baddie is? I mean, is that?
I don't know. Should we spoil? Should we spoil the latest Marvel events, you guys?
I mean, we're already on issue 2, and there's been like 10 crossover books in between.
what I could spoil is that Blade turns, right? Gets turned by something, right?
Yeah, so Blade's a main baddie, and the
Just buy it an extra copy. So someone's telling you never to open a poly bag, right?
yeah. Sometimes I feel the poly bag does more damage to the book than.
Yeah, it can over time. I got one in the other day where I think I show in one of my videos that's coming up where there's a crease down the middle of the comic from it. You know, I mean, it's cool that they left it in the poly bag, but then when you board it and you stick it with all the other ones, it presses into it, and eventually it forms a line on the comic.
I still have the Human Torch in his death bag. Remember that, Jonathan Hickman?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've got a couple of the Superman, Death of Superman books in their bags, but like the ink is just notorious for like coming off the bags. Like,
yeah,
they're all. So yeah, when we left off with this book, basically Blade was stabbing Doctor Strange at the end of the book. So, and the Avengers were pretty much captured by a bunch of vampires. So let's see. Let's find a good page. Yeah, here's a page of Thor and Scarlet Witch, kind of trapped, and there's good old Blade. Actually, no, sorry, that's not Blade. That's T'Challa. That is the Black Panther. He's been bit.
Awesome.
A lot of these heroes are being turned, right?
Yeah. So
we had the DC versus vampires a couple years ago, right? Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was I think it was 2 years ago. That's Blade's daughter there. Get her name at the moment. But she's working with Dracula, believe it or not. Yeah. And there's Dracula. So they're working together. And then it looks like, they're just cutting into all the crossovers. So there's Miles Morales. There's Hunter's Moon. Oop, wrong side.
Oh,
that's
he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's basically the closest thing they have to Moon Knight these days. I mean, there's a Moon Knight running around, but
I get you, Kendall Kid. He says, it's like opening an action figure from its card. I get it.
Yeah, that page was kind of gory, so we'll keep it family friendly. We won't show that one.
Yeah, so this is the first true bloody Marvel event, right? With this.
Yeah, well, that's why they have it in the when you get the red band.
Yeah.
Book, and then you have the not so gory stuff in the regular copies that aren't in the bag. Just making sure it's not too gory. I mean, you do have this guy, vampire being exposed to sunlight.
Yeah,
that happens. All right, and here's a. So, like the original Avengers are pretty much taken out in the first book, but it looks like we have a new, Captain Marvel-led Avengers team. Did
you only get the red band?
I only got the red band. For the first issue, I got both. Like I said, this week was I picked up a lot of books this week, so we'll get another.
It was a big week, I think, as far as volume for a lot of people.
Yeah, so we'll get a Blood Hunt to like a regular copy because I like to compare anyway. I like to look through both and compare and contrast and see what pages are different.
Yeah.
Usually it's the one with extreme amounts of gore. If you see intestines on a page, you're like, that one's probably not in the unpolybagged one.
Right. That's the red band, right.
Right. Here's another book.
Does the red bagged one have extra pages or is it just different?
Extra, I think.
It's a mixture.
Okay.
It has a couple more pages, I believe, like two or four, whatever it is, because extra page on one side requires an extra page on the other.
Sure. Yeah.
But also the artwork is different on certain pages. So it's like some artwork that would be in the regular cover A is changed or different in the red band.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of both. So yeah, you won't get the same artwork on all the pages either in both versions. And the red band costs an extra $1. It's $1 more for for the bonus content
Well,
and
of
the
course
bag.
it does.
Here's Sam and Twitch from the Spawn universe. I still haven't read issue 2, so I can't give you much more than Sam and Twitch are kind of their own individual entities at the moment. So at the end of it, Sam kind of at the end of 1, Sam is kind of getting kicked off the force, and Twitch is kind of following him. So, but
They're
not really.
conducting their own investigations, right? Pretty much.
Right into some stuff that's happening. Next up, we have Ultimate Black Panther number 4. I guess I could have. Well, let's go back to Sam and Twitch real quick because I didn't show you guys any pictures. But here's just so you guys get a feel for how the book is written. There's not a lot of word bubbles. They're just like a line, and then their dialogue is on the page. So it reads like a book manuscript, or even like, are these thoughts? Are they their thoughts more than these guys are saying them out loud? So, yeah, Sam and Twitch were cool characters back in the original Spawn.
Was that Brian Michael Bendis wrote that or something?
I believe so. I didn't read a lot of it. I think I only have
They're
like
pretty much cool detective. I love that detective, type stories where they're investigating the call. I love that.
They were in the HBO animated series. That's really where I paid attention to them. It almost became like a crime noir, the HBO animated series. They were supposed to do a second one. I don't know whatever happened. This is Ultimate Black Panther number 4. Good art, decent story. Black Panther is trying to, stop a civil war from happening.
Cool. Yeah. I might read them all together. It seems kind of decompressed to me.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the ones you could read in trade and be all right with. There's a lot of new characters being introduced.
Cool.
And not even new characters, just characters. Well, there are new characters. So Khonshu and I forget there's another god. Both of them kind of rule over Africa, except for Wakanda, because Wakanda's got its own secret, it's its own secret hidden place. And then the Black Panther's kind of sitting on his butt as Africa is kind of getting invaded by like these mercenaries, and then he decides to go out and do something about it. At the same time, we're also introduced to Storm and Killmonger, but they're like different versions than they are from the 616.
Right.
So like Killmonger is kind of a freedom fighter, and so is Storm. Like, so there's a lot of interesting things going on in that book, but it's really cool. All right. Cool. Next up. Oh yeah. No question. ASM 50.
Oh, there we go. The Return of the True Green Goblin, right?
Yeah, and we're supposed to get the I think the Spider Goblin arc starts here. So there's been rumors that Peter may get turned into a goblin as well.
Hey, why not?
But yeah.
I mean, they were like working together. They were working together, Norman and Peter.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, what?
So yeah, again, I haven't read this one yet, but you can see a change in Norman Osborn. Sometimes he's nice Norman, and then some panels we get that.
Yeah, that's the Norman
Yeah.
The original Norman.
Yeah, and it basically stems from he was saving Spider-Man from an attack. And well, actually, Spider-Man was saving Norman from an attack because Kraven and the Queen Goblin, not the Goblin Queen,
yeah.
Queen Goblin wanted to for Norman to be his true self, and Spider-Man kind of jumps in the way, gets hit with this staff. Kind of becomes a little evil himself, Spider-Man, right? And but what happened? is apparently which we don't see off scene, is that Norman was already hit with this spear. So he was already on his way to changing into the Goblin anyway.
Yeah.
So here's a little taste. There's Norman punching Peter in the face.
Yeah.
There's a headbutt. So, and that's only like.
So did you find it to be, well, no, you just got this today. Did you read this today?
Didn't get a chance. Just picked it up.
I'm wondering if anyone found this suspenseful. Like, oh my God, Norman turned on Peter, That kind of thing. After like all year of Norman like hanging out with Peter and being the golden glider or whatever he was there.
Right. Ooh, there is I just turned to a page that definitely gives away some stuff.
No spoilers here.
We won't spoil that.
Or maybe some.
No, and we get a Black Cat appearance in this book, apparently. So it's a big one. It's a big boy, $10.
Yeah. See you in the 50-cent bin.
Yeah. Try to get it on sale. Now I'm a sucker for these books. JTC, Jonathan Tyler Christopher does negative space variants. And
Cool.
so I'm a big sucker for that. So I spent an extra $8 and got the negative space variant.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I could have just spent $8 and got one copy, but I like to support my LCS when I can.
There you go, man. Do what you got to do, and that's
So
a cool cover. See,
Now
when you buy it new, you get the brand new condition. That's
That's
sometimes you get it later on the internet and it's brand new condition, but it's a coin toss. You don't know. It's
right. You're getting it in the mail.
Champ.
It could be immaculate, leaving wherever it's mailed from, and then just gets you all.
But you're
Right,
supporting
a couple more books. This one is still in the bag, and we're not taking it out of the bag. This one, we'll leave it in there. But this is Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider.
Yep.
This is the one per store like secret variant.
Oh,
It says
cool.
$10 on the lid. I paid $8 for it, but it's got a $5 price tag, so I was like, I'll pay the extra $3 for the rarity of the cover. And actually, I checked this on eBay, and it's going for like $22, $24. So
Yeah.
I paid about 33% less, but it's actually a pretty cool cover. There was actually a Jenny Frison cover too that was there, and they had a foily cover. So I don't think there's anything particularly key about that book, except that it's the second volume of Ghost Spider, and that book was like a secret variant. So I think that's why it's going for in the 20-ish
Right.
dollar range. But I don't think there's anything like super crazy happening in that book. I still haven't read issue 1 of this, so I can't tell you much.
Oh, you haven't read it? Okay.
But this is Ghost Machine, Rook, Exodus. So I got issue. So if I like issue 1, I'll read issue 2. And if I don't like issue 1, well, then I'm stuck with issue 2. But yeah, there's I've heard nothing but good things about the Ghost Machine stuff. And Jeff John, for the most part, and Jason Fabok usually put out pretty good stories. So
I see that. I might pick it up when I'm out tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm interested. This looks like a good read. Let's find like a splash page or something. Like the art in here is good. It's Jason Fabok, so
Hello.
there's no. Yeah, here we go. Here's a big splash. Little. And then this is not a new character, but I believe this is her first full appearance. Is Direwolf. So they give you like a little preview of who she is. She's right on the cover too. So you never know with these indie books. Could be the next Walking Dead. Probably won't be, but you never know.
Something is killing the children, right?
Yeah, exactly. Here's an interesting book. This is Superior Spider-Man number 7. I read the first 3 issues. I wasn't like super drawn into it, but I got this all black cover of the Superior Spider Boy by Humberto Ramos.
Cool.
So this is more of a cover by.
Yeah. And he's
I like Humberto Ramos. I liked him a lot when he was working with Dan Slott. I feel like together his writing, which isn't like, it's more approachable for all ages.
Yeah,
Works
bubblegum.
good with, Humberto Ramos's art because he
Yeah.
kind of has a cartoonish feel to it, right? So,
Mhm.
but I feel like now I kind of want a more adult Spidey, and so I'm not. I wouldn't want Ramos to return to Spider-Man, but I liked what he did when he did it when I was younger. So
That's cool.
But yeah, that cover I saw, and I was like, you know what? I'll pick that up. That's a cool one. All right, we got Star Wars because I'm reading Star Wars. So Lando is on trial in the Star Wars for, he tried to help during the what was the whole Android saga, the Dark Droid saga. He helps his buddy Lobot, and he does some things that are, not Rebel approved, and so he runs into some trouble, and he's getting put on trial for the things he did, and then as he's on trial, one of the senators who's trying him gets kidnapped. So Lando just always seems to get lucky in these situations. So that's what Star Wars has been doing now. They're kind of like, the trial's kind of on hold while they're trying to, recover the senator that's been kidnapped. And that's pretty much what this book is about. I think it's about them trying to get the senator back. I'm trying to look for some cool art. There's just a lot of talking, but it looks like Lando makes his way out into the field. So he's got at least a temporary release while things are happening. Here's a battle droid. So
I wonder when the current Star Wars is going to get past Return of the Jedi, right? Let's do this.
Right.
I mean, they move through the other eras really fast, and this one they're like kind of lingering. So
yeah, I think this one has right. So you still got Hans in the carbonite. So I figured that there's probably a lot that they can play with while Hans is stuck in the carbonite. Because once they get Han Solo back, there's a lot. Things are a little bit more.
But you lose Vader. That's what happens. You lose Vader. So they don't want to lose Vader, right?
Right, exactly. All right, I think we're down to like our last 5 books, guys. So if you can hold on, I'm sure somebody's going to show you some good old comics. All right, we have Something That's Killing the Children. This is another origin story for Jessica Slaughter. So they've been, flip-flopping back and forth. I think originally this book was only supposed to go like 9 issues, or maybe it was 6 issues, and it was so popular that it just kept going. So they've kind of been doing the thing where they go to the the present, do a story there, and then they're like, oh,
flashback,
and we'll take you to a time when Jessica fought her first big monster or something like that. So it's a pretty interesting book. It usually reads pretty quickly because it's just big panels, not a lot of words, but there's a certain economy to what's being said. The main character, Jessica Slaughter, she's not a big talker. So you're not going to get a lot out of her. It's going to be all supplemental characters to do.
Do they show both her eyes now? It's cool. Cool design, though.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. And I actually, flipping through this book, I don't think I saw one monster. That might be like the first time I haven't seen a monster and Something That's Killing the Children book. So that's interesting. All right. The Immortal Thor. Last we checked in on Thor. Not only was he being made fun of with a Roxanne Chad Hammer version of himself, but at the end of the book, thanks to some illusions by the Enchantress, it looked like Thor may have murdered somebody.
Whoa.
So yeah, so Thor was so it looks like Asgard is trying to figure out what to do. We'll see. I have to still read this, but what the repercussions of what happened at the end of the last Thor issue are. But
At least-
this,
At least he's wielding his hammer again. That's good. That's good news.
yeah, he's got his hammer. In this episode, the last issue, he actually had his hammer and his axe. So
Okay.
it looks like he's dual wielding Thor. So there's Angela's in this issue too, and a much younger version of Loki. So I am interested to read it just to see what is happening in here. And it looks like there's even another version of Loki at the end of it, and it just ends off with God of Doom. So got to see what they're doing with Thor. I've been in and out with Thor, but once they
Your interest
framed
has
Thor,
evened out.
yeah, once they framed Thor for murder, I was like, well, I can't just drop it after that. I got to give it at least one more.
Yeah.
One more issue.
Yeah.
All right. This was another. It's a cover pickup primarily because I read issue 0 and issue 1 of this, and I wasn't like totally in love with it. But this cover was just so cool. And this is from the X-Men 97 series. I don't know why I put it in a bag.
Have you watched the series, Will?
I have. I watched the whole thing.
Do you love it?
I did love it.
Cool.
I
I don't
thought
have Disney
but it
Plus
was
anymore, so
really good.
got some internet problems.
I'll read. Oh, it's definitely worth a watch if you can catch it. Just a really, really cool show. I think it hit notes like the original 90s cartoon did, but in a much better way, like a better produced way. So it does maintain a lot of the feel of the original 90s cartoon, but just better directed, better animated. And they try to mimic some of the animation techniques and stuff like that. But I actually ordered this book FOC. So I probably ordered it about, I don't know, a month ago.
I guess that issue cover was very under ordered according to Comics Embraced.
Yeah, so I FOC'd this guy. I
Nice.
got it like maybe 2 months ago. I put in an order for it. Yeah, the comic guy, my local comic shop guy, I had a conversation with him. I was probably in the store for about an hour and a half today.
Yeah.
But when he pulled this cover out for me, he goes, "Oh yeah, that book's going for like $20 on the internet." And I was like, "Well, I'm glad I ordered it."
Yeah, that's what FOC is all about. Your show, your little mini show there. Get it before it's gone.
Yeah. So, but I love that about, at least my comic shop guy. I've heard stories, but if a book pops, it pops. But if you ordered it, you get it at, the cover price, the price you ordered it at. So
yeah,
it's not like he's gonna say, "Oh no, I need it for my shelf or something." You pre-ordered it, you get it.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. This is Andy Samberg and Rick Remender, The Holy Roller. So this is a pretty funny story. It's kid comes back to his town. He's got like this uncanny ability to throw a bowling ball like nobody else, and he just uses it kind of to stop this neo-Nazi uprising that's happening in his town. And of course, the main villain is the son of the mayor of the town, so there's lots of cover-ups and those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, a lot of it just happens in a small town in a bowling alley.
What up, Jacob? Thanks, man.
This character here, right? Well, the guy you see on the cover.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen the main character we're on issue 6, and we haven't really seen him in this costume.
Oh.
I think it's more of a mental image that he has of himself, as opposed to something you actually see.
One of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And the main character does look a lot like Andy Samberg. So I can see this either was a failed script that, he was just like, let's turn it into a comic book, or it's a story that he's hoping, maybe sells enough comics that, maybe they'll turn it into something. But
yeah.
Holy Roller, if you like Andy Samberg and his comedy and you like Rick Remender, this is definitely a book worth checking out. All right, we're down to the last Last book.
Okay.
And then we probably don't have to come back to me because I just wasted like 45 minutes.
Oh, good.
This is Blood Squad 7. And what I was saying earlier about Local Man is this is kind of in the same vein. This is what if a superhero team from the 90s came back, 30 years later to kind of do the superhero thing that they used to do.
Yeah.
So I haven't read it yet. I don't know. The LCS shop guy did read it, said he thought it was a very good read. So I picked it up. But again, it's supposed to be kind of in that same vein of that 90s Image books. Now, Local Man has a little bit more comedy written into it. And this one just seems to be a little bit more serious, if you will. Not too much.
Okay.
Not as much. It's more of like a Wetworks kind of book, or
not trying to be ironic or whatever.
Right. Just espionage. And then, we got the Pentagon here. So, yeah, it just
Jackson Roy Kirk, what up, dude?
So, yeah, it just seems to handle everything a little bit more seriously. And then I'm not sure if this is a villain or not, but that looks like something scary is happening in there. And there's a decapitated head on the floor.
Oh.
But this guy's like, he's just on the phone saying, I'm living the dream. So I don't know what that dream is, but look at that. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, that was this week's new comic book day haul with a big one this week.
Yeah.
I have a lot of reading to do.
Yeah.
So when you guys don't see my face on the screen, I'm probably going to be
it's okay.
back here just trying to read some comics. All right.
Well, that was your brand new comic day, people.
Cool books.
Yeah, man. Cool. Some cool books, some questionable stuff. They jacked you once again on Amazing Spider-Man, gave you another $10 book. Right. It looks pretty cool because it's the return of the original Green Goblin, right? Which is going to pull a lot of people in. So I'm going to go back to my chaos. I'm going to go just start showing comic book covers and the insides, right? Like I like to do. So, 1975, Doctor Strange number 11. We're going to go big, as the Jackson Roy Kirk says. Go big or go home.
That one's got a check mark.
Yeah, I got this from an eBay, and this is a huge lot of Doctor Strange. So some of these are going to be lower grade, but that's okay because I keep collecting until I get the higher grade. But this is not bad.
No, I really like Doctor Strange covers. They just
I love
about the character.
I'm loving this first volume. I'm going to start reading right from the beginning, but I just I'm reading things like Old Defenders right now with Don Perlin art, and I'm like, why am I reading that when I could read this? But I love my J.M. DeMatteis art, so yeah. We'll do one more page. I mean, my J.M. DeMatteis writing. So some good classic writers, even if the art is meh, I could still get into it. I could still read it. It's actually fun reading the older comics with the narration and stuff. Okay, 1979. Marvel 2-in-1 number 45 with Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel. Look, he's blasting Thing's suit. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. You got Kuppenberg art within. The Andromeda rub out. Looks cool. I'm going to definitely be reading a lot of Marvel 2-in-1. Is that even him? Look at that. He must have had a vision. Pretty cool, right?
Thinking Farah.
So yeah, I got tons of this stuff. Mike Grail, John Sable, number 40. You can get these really cheap, of course, but I get it for the art. I'm going to start it over. I did read his origin story, really enjoyed it. But look at this. This is beautiful. You always got to go with the splash page, Mike Grail splash page.
Yeah, but he's an artist. You want to see the splash page.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah, I'm not complaining, but he does his obligatory. So we got some older art by Trevor Von Eden here. 1979, Power Man and Iron Fist, number 57. But I think it's before Trevor Von Eden was known for his real kinetic style, real action kick-ass style. But it looks pretty cool. The Pharaohs of Broadway. What do you guys think? Pretty cool. I've got a couple of these. This is going to probably go into the doubles area, but this is 1986. X Factor number 8. You see these popping up. This used to be like something people collected, but it doesn't seem like it as much nowadays. I love Mystique. Mark Silvestri art within. Pretty cool. Yeah, we'll try moving through these. We got from early 2000s, 2005, JSA 76, Alex Ross cover. Got this for a quarter. Mr. Terrific, pretty cool. I like this character. I haven't read a Mr. Terrific comic that really blew my mind away, but I want to. I just think he's interesting. Okay, indie from the 80s. Here we go. Some cool stuff. 1987 by Crystal Comics. It's Eagle number 12. Filthy 50 Center. Got this person going through an energy tunnel. We got a cool back cover. Pretty dang awesome. Is that gatefold? Is that? No, but it almost looks like it could be. But yeah, there's like a. Back in the day, they didn't. They thought you were going to detach the covers, So you got half the girl here and you got half the girl there. Little pinup for you, pinup comic in the 80s. But yeah, definitely good art. Perchance to Dream, right? Pretty cool stuff. Okay, we're gonna go with some Kirby action. Reprint of Fantastic Four 91 from 1971. This is Marvel's Comics, Grace Comics 73, and it's The Thing Enslaved. This is probably another double for me. We got a gal. Looks like she was yawning, but in reality, she's smoking a really big filtered cigarette. Man, I just read a Jack Kirby story. Oh my God, it was so freaking awesome. It was called Silver Star, and it was issue number 6. And it was absolutely incredible. It was I really didn't know what was going on because it was the final issue, but I guess someone created Homo Geneticist, right? And they were up against, for some reason, the Angel of Death at the end of the last issue I was reading. They're fighting the Angel of Death, but the Angel of Death had this alias that was fighting with him, but you didn't know that until the end of the comic. And the way it read was really cool. It was almost like a poem in a way, you know. It was prose, but yeah, it was Jack Kirby, 1984, and I think it's overlooked, that series. So if you see it, it's called Silver Star. In fact, I should probably just like pull it out now that I'm talking about it, right? Yeah, I'll do that. Here it is right here. I normally save these for reviews, but I'm babbling about it. But it's number 6. And it's freaking pretty good. I think I showed this already, but the story was really good. This cult was worshiping the Angel of Death. And of course, the Angel of Death turns on him, you know. But look at that. It's beautiful. Yeah, so we got another Doctor Strange here, 1977, 24. What prices the universe? Pretty cool. Jim Starlin's doing the art within. Look at that detail. A change cometh. Very cool. We'll go with another indie from the 80s, just this crazy stuff you find, you know. 1987, it's Heroes of Rock and Fire. I originally thought it said rock and roll, you know, but alas, it wasn't. This is these ladies are from the moon of Saturn or Jupiter. No, it's Jupiter, right? Duh. Pretty cool. Inside, it's black and white. Pretty cool stuff. What else we got here? We got from Dark Horse from 1990, Terminator number 3. Pretty cool cover. I think I got this from Dave. That's what the insides look like. All right, we got some Mike Zeck here coming up. 1981. Captain America 258. Pretty dang cool, right? by Blockbuster. So yeah. So Rob, are you ready to jump on?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do this.
I was just in a side panel here checking on your package that I sent out Monday.
Oh, you sent it out Monday. Cool.
I sent it out Monday. It said it was supposed to be there today, but the
Sure.
last update says it's still in Orlando, so I don't know. The post office tracking is usually sometimes really bad, so
Yeah, totally.
so you might get it tomorrow. I don't know.
Cool. We'll see what happens. Take it away, Rob.
Alrighty. So yeah, I set my Wayback Machine to 1965 for today's comics.
Ooh.
So these are all from 65. We got Action Comics number 321. The Superman as the weakest man in the world.
Oh no.
And the kids are just tossing him back and forth like he's a rubber ball. So, you know.
Cool.
And number 322, The Coward of Steel. I mean, they would just do anything to Superman back then, right?
Yeah.
Here's number 325. The giant baby. He wants to play with the toy plane. That's a real plane.
Thanks, Kendall. Really appreciate that.
And Adventure Comics 330. You'd think you might, catch a break because he's hanging out with the Legion, but no such luck.
Nope. Yeah, they gave Soups a hard time back in the day, didn't they?
And here's Buffalo Bill Jr. number 1 from Gold Key.
Ooh.
So this is actually, I think, reprints a Dell copy.
Uh-huh.
Because I remember having this photo cover on a Dell copy that I used to have, or I may still have it somewhere. Donald Duck 101, which is an incomplete copy for me, but got the ducks on an adventure there. And 102. I always, whenever I see a bear like this on a duck cover, I always want it to be Humphrey the Bear, but it never is. Emil and the Detectives, which is also an old Disney movie. I think I showed this on my channel not too long ago.
Emil and the Detectives. Cool.
Yeah, it's actually an old classic children's novel, but I didn't know that until maybe 6 months ago. Here's The Flyman, number 34 from 1965. Got who is it there? The Shield, I guess.
Cool. Flyman.
Little Charlton, you got Gunmaster, number 85. And Bullet, the Gun Boy.
Awesome.
Some Korak covers. Here's number 8. Very cool. And number 9. And number 10. I like the monkey laughing. Life with Archie, number 36. So this is one of the Archie series that seem to feature more adventurous stories every once in a while. Little Dot, 120. And so I don't know what's going on there. She's Total War number 2 from Gold Key. The Mars Patrol was called Total War when it first started.
Thanks, Swagda. Appreciate
Number
that.
3 changed to Mars Patrol.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like that, man. That Mars Patrol. See, now I'm on the old sci-fi bend, of the 50s and 60s and stuff.
Strange Adventures 178.
That's stuff I like grabbing now too.
And here's 182.
So where'd you get these again?
I don't know. All
Oh, yeah.
over.
Yeah, that's what's starting to happen to me too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, these aren't new. These are the ones that I've got dated and in the files. So
Cool.
I'm not sure exactly where they came from. Sugar and some of them were just recent buys because I remember showing them on the channel. We got Sugar and Spike number 60. And I remembered being disappointed in this one because it was incomplete. I think it's missing the centerfold.
Oh yeah.
Superboy 120.
Is that Kurt Swan or?
Yeah, it looks like it could be. I don't really know, but good guess. Here's number 121. And then a couple Jimmy Olsen's. They had a lot of Superman titles in 1965.
Yeah.
Got him leg lock.
And here's number 89. And then Walt Disney's Comics and Stories number 293 finishes it up. And
Cool.
I remember showing on this one on the channel too because it had a bunch of red stuff on his rear end that I had to clean up. So.
Yeah, it looks familiar. Cool.
And that's it. That's the ones I have in my current filing system for 1965. I have other books, but they're in a different set of boxes, and most of them are Disney ones. And I was going to grab from that set of boxes, but then I realized they were pretty much all Disney, and there would be no variety. So
Right. Should I go again, Will, or should I, have you go? Do you want to go?
No, you can go again. I took up unless you want me to go because I. Oh wait, no, I can go. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I'll go. Unless you want more time for.
Well, I'll let you get ready for that, and I'll take over here. So.
Oh, because I'm ready. I got both.
Oh, are you ready now? Okay, buddy. Cool. All right.
I just didn't want to take up the whole show.
That's all right. It was a big comic book day. Maybe we'll do when the big comic noob days. We'll split them in half or something like that next time.
That sounds good. All right. So we got a few books in here. Here's a cool one. So I'm trying to put away some boxes and I'm digging through, but we have Stan Lee's Batman. So
oh yeah, wow.
This is actually a 50 center. I picked it up. But I got it for half the price of whatever it was on sale for because this is $1. So filthy dollar.
Despicable dollars. Let's do that.
There you go.
it's filthy 100 centers.
Yeah, there you go.
They're just the dollar hollers.
So yeah, this is basically DCX Stan Lee to reimagine a bunch of their characters.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it's like Wonder Woman, Green Lantern. It was basically like the Justice League, and this was his version of the Batman. I'm trying to actually see if I can find the panel with him. He looked more bat, less man. I think he was literally like a man bat. But pretty cool Stan Lee book, but DC.
Yeah, I remember they had him do that.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, towards the end of, after he left Marvel. Well, didn't technically leave. He was still around, lurking. But yeah, he did stuff for Boom. He did stuff for created his own business, if you will. Did stuff for a bunch of other people.
Boom, he did something like The Unknowns or something like that. They were called The Unknowns. It's like one of his last works he did.
This is one of those yellow covers. All right, everybody loves yellow covers for some reason.
Yeah.
So this is Devil's Reign number 4. This is the Black History Month variant.
Cool.
Devil's Reign. So yeah, I look
It looks
through
good.
trying to find some books. This is Outcast number 2. That's a Robert Kirkman book. This was on Showtime, I believe. You know, it didn't quite gain the fame and notoriety that The Walking Dead did, but this was on the I was on the TV for I think 2 seasons. Outcast, pretty good book. I read it a long time ago, but it's a guy who's got mental. I don't know if it's mental issues. He just sees things, and then
Right.
I didn't get too far into it. Here's a Quentin Tarantino book, The Django and Zorro.
Nice.
This is cover C.
Cover C. Cool.
I just bought that today on Whatnot.
Did you?
Yeah, it was
Synchronicity,
in a lot with some Donald Duck comics.
some synchronicity there.
So these were also in the 50-cent range. This is another 50-cent book. This is Iron Man number 1.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Gillen run.
Kieran
I
Gillen.
see that
right?
number 1 a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Mach 42 or whatever suit. First appearance of that suit
Hmm.
in there. Here we have some Rick Remender. I actually like this run before
Yeah.
it slowed and delayed, but this is Uncanny Avengers. Rick
There's an
Remender.
interesting Deadpool variant too that has that. But I
There were
love.
a lot of Deadpool variants that came out around that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Uncanny X-Force, and Uncanny Avengers was pretty good too.
Yeah. This might be, I think, the first appearance of the Darkness and the Pit, or one or the other. But this is Top Cow, which is, Image Comics. This is the Darkness and Pit first look.
Hmm.
So got some Dale Keown art. He's on there. Paul Jenkins. Here's another 50 center. This is the Ultimate's Cataclysm, The Last Stand. I believe this is the first appearance of Miles Morales from the 616. No.
Huh.
Sorry. Correction. This is the first appearance of Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe in the 616. There was a
Okay.
Miles that existed in the 616. Just turns out he was a bad dude.
He's a bad
wasn't-
dude.
he
What up,
wasn't a good
Steve?
guy.
Steve
Like-
White. Steve White saying hi to you. Will.
What's up, Steve? All right. Here's Something That's Killing the Children number 22. This was one of the Something Has Killing the Children set in the present day, as opposed to, a
Flashbacks.
past or a flashback. This was an interesting series. Berserker, Keanu Reeves, Matt Kent.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I remember when that came out.
Yeah. And I enjoyed it a lot. It was like John Wick, but like if John Wick were a caveman and then never died. So it was interesting. And then it ended, the way it ended was weird. I don't know. Like he wanted to be normal, went through some tests, a bunch of stuff happened. I don't know. Flashing lights.
Yeah.
Here's a Boom Studio Stan Lee book. This is Starborn number 1. You got the little Stan Lee signature there. That's not, that's just automatically on the book. That's not an actual signature.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys like 4 more books, and then actually let's go. I know people here like some of the older stuff, so we're gonna venture, I guess, into the 80s, late 80s. But we'll do some Superman. So here we go. Superman returns to Action Comics with George Perez and Brett Reed.
Cool. Beautiful cover.
Yeah, well, classic homage cover. Again, these were 50 centers as well.
Yeah, you could find these in the 50-cent bins. It's crazy.
Yeah, here's another one. This is the first full appearance of the Eradicator in this one.
Nice.
Here we go. First appearance of Superboy.
Wow.
So a lot of these came in poly bags too. So get those in poly bags.
Or two, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. First Tim Drake.
Really? 50 cents.
First, Tim Drake in the classic Robin suit. So I
Right.
don't think this is the first Tim Drake, but you get Tim Drake in the Robin suit in this one.
People dumped all their stuff they were specking on or something. They're probably gruntled, you know. People were excited, like, you know, 4 years ago or whatever.
Right. Got Batman. Here we go. And here's some more. This is 441. This is 442. And then we got Batman Year 3.
Yeah, you see that often too. Pretty cool. You could just pick up these Batman comics though. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The thing with all of those too is they printed so many copies back then
Yeah.
because
Right.
everybody was specking on them that there's just so many copies out there, you know.
yeah, there's a lot of these, I guess. But when we got to X-Men with Jim Lee, that's when they were like printing millions of books, right? These are
Right.
pretty close. These are like 500,000 print runs or something like that. But yeah, they were definitely churning out. But yeah, they were on newsstands, they were in comic shops, they were in pharmacies, they were at your bookstore. So they were just pumping out comics all over the place. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, unless you want me to keep going, I could stop there so we have time for
Okay, cool. Yeah.
everybody else to get
I'll
around.
take over here. Cool. I'm going to do a Charlton here. I might have shown this, but it was a double. But it's 1976, Space 1999, number 3. Little John Byrne, earlier John Byrne action. Definitely cool. I think I showed the other one I had, but definitely want to read this. That's what I love. It is kind of scattershot collecting is what I'm into a little bit, you know, but then when you find stuff you like, you know, you definitely go after it. Pretty cool. Earlier John Byrne work here. I like the alien faces and stuff. But he definitely gets better in the 80s. Well, once he goes to X-Men and stuff. But that's pretty cool. I bet it's a cool story. Space 1999. We've got the Marvel Universe here. Book of the Dead in the Inactive, right? From 1985. Pretty weird. They're just standing there all grim and deceased, right? Cool encyclopedia of stuff. The Green Goblin actually appears in this because at that time he was dead. He was dead for like 20 years, right? Drac the Destroyer is Dracula's in there. It's pretty crazy, huh? Who was dead or deceased or inactive or whatever. Yeah, got that for a quarter. We'll do a little Steve Rude here. We'll do Nexus 18. From 1986. Still got a lot of these. The cover's okay. But you get the fantastic art of Mr. Rude, the Rude dude himself. Pretty cool. I got a lot of this stuff. It really is almost like Kirby. Sometimes with the movements and whatnots. Got a bunch of Spectacular Spider-Man in the mail. This is 1994. And I have this issue. It's issue 223. But this one is the die cut, which I really appreciate.
Cool. Oh, I hadn't seen that one before. That's neat.
It's beautiful. No spine ticks, which is important for black covers, I guess, right? Especially. But we have Sal Buscema art, but we have Bill Sienkiewicz doing the finishes. So that makes it an interesting art style because you don't see that too often. It's really crazy. It's like cartoony, like Sal Buscema, but then somehow menacing and dark, from the Ill Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Yeah, man. So it's definitely interesting. This is a little after my time, but yeah, I was really happy to get that in a lot. I got this for $25. We're talking about Batman. You can find Batman on the cheap, and that's good news. You wonder in the future if Batman's going to be these Batman comics are still going to be $0.25, 50 cents, stuff like that. But this is Batman $4.53. Pretty cool. I love when he's fighting what seems to be the undead. In this case, it probably was, right? Dark Knight, Dark City. Pretty cool. And I got a lot of Batman comics, I'll tell you. Holy freak. Okay, we got another Filthy 50 Center here. Another indies from the 80s, which is 1988 from Eclipse Comics. Zot 21. I don't know if you guys heard of Zot.
I've heard of him, but I've never actually read any of them, I don't think.
Looks pretty cool. Yeah, I dig the black and white stuff. Pretty cool backside. Yeah. We'll do another indies from the 80s. It's graphic. I actually got this from 25 cents. Some people are like, yeah, dude, you got it for 25 cents for a reason, but I don't know. It brings me great joy to get this stuff. But it's number 3 of Figments. Have you guys heard of this?
Wow.
More black and white. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's an anthology, right?
What's that?
It's an anthology. There are like 2 or 3 different stories in there. Yeah. I either have it or I sold it. I'm not sure.
I love the original like sci-fi weird stuff. A lot of the stuff looks kind of like Flash Gordon-ish or something. But yeah, it's cool. We got Walt Simonson issue of Thor, 1984. Thor 349. Got a bunch of these. Pretty cool. Debuts of Honor. Someone remarked yesterday, I think it was Roger, that a lot of the Walt Simonson in before, most of that Thor is awesome, and then Thor starts getting, kind of boring a little bit afterwards. But I remember the late 90s Thor with John Romita Jr., and Dan Jurgens was writing it, and it had a lot of Thanos in it. It was really good. So I was agreeing with Roger at that time, but I had to reflect upon it. And I want that series back, actually. That Thor's run. I had to sell all my stuff. Most of my comics went in 2008. It was a tough year. So we got doubles here. Batman 504. Night Quests. Got a lot of these Night Quests. So this will be going in the back issue. I mean the double area. Well, I'll open it up. Let's see. Some Catwoman action for you. Yeah. We've got, was it 2001, an early issue of The Authority, Mark Millar, and Quietly. This is totally worth getting in dollar bins if you find them. Any Frank Quietly on the cheap. And if you don't have it, you should just pick it up. It's definitely when he was working a lot, I think something happened to him, unfortunately, and he couldn't work as much as he was in the early 2000s or whatever, right? But he's definitely, some people like him. They're like, he's like their favorite or something. You got a lot of Frank Quietly fans out there. I'm currently reading Planetary, and I've read the first couple issues of The Authority, and I liked it. But this is later stuff. Dude,
there's a crossover book with Planetary and Authority in the same story.
Yeah, they're in the same universe. But yeah, you find this stuff on the cheap. You guys especially see Millar Quietly, or the guys before, the team that did The Authority before, definitely go for it. Okay, so of course you could find these. I got this for $25, or someone traded it with me. Our buddy Josh, Rob, 1988, Excalibur, number 3.
Nice.
You got, the Juggernaut taking out, Cat Britain.
Yeah, I like the early issues of Excalibur. It was a fun series.
Yeah, Alan Davis does the art, right? Or
yeah.
It's a cool Nightcrawler. Yeah, Alan Davis. I really enjoy his stuff. Yeah, I remember as a kid loving the first few issues and stuff, but I for some reason I fell out of Excalibur. Maybe because I wasn't so familiar with Captain Britain. I didn't really understand what was going on. I wanted X-Men more maybe when I was a kid. But you definitely get a lot of X-Men. You get Rachel Phoenix and stuff like that in that run. Okay, we got indies from the 80s. We got Aircel Comics, The Adventurers. And heavy inks and stuff. I love this. I forgot where I got this from. No, that's what happens, huh, Rob? When you just get all this stuff from all over. Look, this the final page is in the inside of the cover. Yeah, huh, Rob? It's like, I used to know, hey, I got this from Josh, or I got this from Rob. Now it's all just, crazy. Pretty cool, right? For a $25 or whatever.
Yeah, that's an awesome series. Just the art in it is amazing for an independent back then.
Yeah, Aircel. I always shout out Big Elbow. He grew up on this stuff. He got me into it. He opened my eyes to his videos, So yeah, whenever I see Aircel, I go for it. Got that. We got some more Bill Sienkiewicz. 1984. Pretty cool. Starriers, number 2. And back in the day, they told you it was a 4-issue limited series, and they weren't worried about it. You know, if it was successful, then it would turn into a big series, right? But they didn't mind hitting you with the mini series back then and proclaiming it's a mini series. Kind of helps people get into it more. Now it seems like, nope, number 1. Here's your number 1, and then the following year, like Will, that Gwen, that Spider Gwen, that number 1 year old. How many number 1s are there? Spider Gwen now,
Right.
It's like just let it happen. I have the original Spider Gwen stuff that Robbie Rodriguez, or I actually sold it. I think I sold her first appearance too, and that very first Spider-Verse or whatever.
So yeah, Marvel now differentiates Spider-Gwen from Ghost Spider. So that's technically only the second Ghost Spider number 1. But
oh, is that right? Same character though, right?
Same character. They just consider them different titles for some reason.
I showed a Squirrel Girl cover recently that said it's only our second number 1 this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we got an issue from Alan Moore, 1985. Vigilante, number 17. Got this super cheap. I might have got this for $0.25 too. But art's looking pretty good. The colors are popping for an older comic. Pretty cool. Okay, so Jim Bakey is the artist. Marv Wolfman is the editor. Father's Day. It doesn't look like a happy dad. Right. Yeah, a little Vigilante. I think Higgy Pop got me into Vigilante, so I'll be, whenever I see this on the cheap, I just grab it. Did you want to go on again, Will? Do you have more to show? Or
yeah, I got more books.
Yeah, because I just got random stuff here. I always pull a little more than I think I'm going to do. Bill Sienkiewicz, another one here, 1980, Fantastic Four, 224. Someone mentioned just buy Fantastic Four now. Like, is it the spec's going to go up? It depends if the movie is going to be good, right? If the movie is awesome, if they do Fantastic Four like in the original like Kirby style and stuff, or just make it awesome, then yeah, all those books will go even more, right? But if Disney does what Disney's been doing, this is Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz, cool stuff. It might not, no one will care. Like, look at Moon Knight. Moon Knight stuff went up when the show hit.
Right.
Now Moon Knight's back in the 50-cent bins, Yeah. Hey, Brent, what's up, bro? Yeah, I got that Planetary Batman crossover. I think I got. Do I have that? I don't know. Anyway, let's turn it over to Will.
All right.
Bada boom, bada bing.
All right. So let's see. We did some 80s. Well, we're coming back to the current stuff.
Cool.
I have a saying that I don't think there's ever a bad Spawn cover. And so here's a very simple Gunslinger Spawn cover. Just the smoking gun. So it's issue number 7 there. What else do we have? This was Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. They got back together for We Have Demons, which was an interesting.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Story. This that came out on Comixology first, and then I think Dark Horse picked up the printing rights.
Cool.
For it. It's just a Batman detective comic from when Mariko Tamaki was doing the series, but you could see all the green in like a question mark, and this is
I like a lot of these subtle Batman, because you don't see that right away.
Right.
You know,
And this was it was good. The Riddler was a main villain back then.
what up, Brent?
We have Batman Beyond the White Knight. So
I actually read that and liked it.
yeah, it was a pretty good story. Sean Murphy creating his own Murphyverse.
Yeah.
Batman.
I had the first one and I thought it was okay. It was so hyped, I sold it. Yeah, I'm not a good speculator, you know.
Right.
I really am not, because I'll be like, okay, I'll sell it, you know, and then I'm like, oh, why did I do that? You know,
It was pretty good. This was very short-lived. Death of the Justice League.
Mhm.
This is a pretty cool cover. Let's see if I can get it out of here. They call these lenticular.
Death of the Justice League. They'll bring back Justice League, hopefully, with an awesome creative team. I mean, awesome.
Right now it's the Teen Titans are the Justice League. So that's the.
It's like they didn't know what to do with the Justice League. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Well, they've had trouble with the Justice League for a while.
I know.
Scott Snyder was on it for a while, and he tried his hardest, but you know he did.
It's cool. Take it away. Get it out of here until you have a really good idea for it. You know.
But out of that, we got the death metal stuff. So that was interesting. Here's a variant cover of Thor.
Yeah, Snyder stuff beforehand, right, was a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Scott was at his best with Batman back in the day with the
especially the first couple arcs there. I freaking loved it.
Yeah, and he did Black Mirror for Detective before he actually got mainstay on the Batman title. So
yeah.
This is a variant cover of Thor 24. This was the Donny Cates run, but it's just a cool, you know, they burned the boats, you know, traditionally with the bodies of the fallen.
Yeah.
Norse mythology. It was I think even Vikings did the same thing. So just a cool way they work the artwork into the flames. Here we go. We got the reboot of the Amazing Spider-Man with Amazing Spider-Man #1.
I remember that.
Is that
cool? Romita Jr. cover.
Yeah, this was cool. This was like, oh, Romita did that. All right. So yeah, just the classic Spidey leg that's always bending in a way that it shouldn't.
Yeah,
Spider-Man's legs just bend in ways they shouldn't.
Drawn so much awesome Spidey over the years, man. Incredible.
He has. They my local comic shop guy said that recently and I have to find it. I'm going to look for it. They took John Romita Jr. art from Now, which some people have issues with, but they colored it and penciled it how they probably would have in the 80s as opposed to how they do it now modernly. And they said the art looked 100 times better. You know, he just needs a classic like colorist and pencilist to kind of make his art look the way it used to.
You mean an inker, or they needed someone to ink him right?
Yeah, inker. Sorry, I kept saying
no, that's cool.
Right? Yeah, so he did the pencils, and they had an inker and a colorist kind of do it in the style from the late 80s.
Yeah,
and
so he's still solid, you know.
It's just the current techniques.
Sometimes his rushed, blocky style I don't like. You know, you could tell he's it's phone.
Yeah,
he's just moving fast, but he's still awesome. You know.
I mean, he's a little bit older, right? So he probably has to take shortcuts at this point in his career to get to where it needs to be.
He's a classic. I love his stuff from the early 80s too, man. I love it.
He's so cool. Nocterra, just another Scott Snyder book. We got that there. There's some Flashpoint Batman Beyond Zero, right? This is Jeff Johns doing some wacky stuff. Here's a indie book that I kind of like. This is Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog. Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes does a lot of writing in Hollywood. Good writer. That's actually the same universe as theoretically Spawn, Philadelphia. Like there's like a shared universe. Here's some Venom.
Cool.
Romvy.
Philadelphia's in the Spawn universe?
Yeah, they've recently had so I haven't read the last arc, but they have Spawn is like on the cover of Philadelphia books now. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, him and the Savage Dragon.
You know, people are gonna go after that now, right?
Oh, it's a thing. Yeah. Miles Morales quickly got lost in the Spider-Verse. This book was like super hyped, and I was already getting the book anyway, but it was like super hyped. They're like, oh, they're doing a Miles Morales Spider-Verse thing, and then he basically jumps into like one dimension, and it was like characters we've already seen before.
Yeah.
It was not anything like the animated movie. Black Panther #5. This was part of the Ridley run. That was the run previous to the run that's going on now. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff came out of what actually came out of this series was the Tosin Adoye character that blew up, that everybody's speculating might be the next Black Panther in the movies.
Oh yeah.
Who knows? Kanto, I love this book. This is the third part, I think.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember Kent. Yeah.
They're actually releasing this summer, I think, the last arc of Kanto.
It's got a lot of heart.
Yeah. But yeah, this is one of my favorite comic characters of like all time, really. I think it's good. It's a good book that anybody could read. It's like all ages, like kids or adults.
Yeah.
It's really good. And then I got Regarding the Matters of Oswald Body #4. This goes into the JFK assassination, and Oswald in that book actually ends up living, and it's like a whole secret conspiracy kind of thing.
Love it.
It's another JFK conspiracy theory book.
Yeah.
And I'll leave you with, let's go with a Batman kind of painted cover of the Penguin.
Let's do this. Or I remember that too. Yeah.
From Detective
that's not that
Comics.
old. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Cool. Yeah, you can find these 50 cents, pick them up, collect Detective, collect Batman, do it. On the cheap. Now, Kendall Kidd, let me tell you something. JRJR, mediocre artist. Okay, that's a cool opinion, but I grew up. I grew up on that Roger Stern run, and I still have imagery of the John Romita Jr., just the face, the Spidey face, and him kicking, Mr. Hyde's ass, like swinging him around into like concrete and busting up concrete and stuff. It was just amazingly dynamic comics to me. And then in the 90s, he was on Peter Parker Spider-Man, and that was pretty good. Unfortunately, it was Howard Mackie. The writing kind of was lackluster.
Yeah.
Then he came back and amazing. He did all kinds of stuff. This guy's a legend. So, but I get it. Romita Sr., did he live in his father's shadow? I don't know. I think he did his own thing and he did really well. But they gave him a hard time actually at the office. Well, it's Romita's kid, right?
Yeah. I've heard stories like that. He went to DC for a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was more recent. He actually, Romita Jr. was a Marvel guy through and through for most, but eventually he went to DC, did some Superman, stuff like that. Yeah, to each his own, brother. No,
I
get
saw him when he went. Yeah, I saw him at a signing when he went to DC for a little bit, and I think he was a little mad at Marvel. He had like a little venom. It's like those guys. I was talking to him, and he's like, I'm going to DC now. He's like, those guys don't know what they're doing over there at Marvel. So he seemed a little perturbed back then, but now he's back with Marvel, and he seems fine.
Back. Yeah,
he seems like he's having a good time being back. It's like he got to go home.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this up. What I'll do is ask Rob first. Is there anything you'd like to say, Rob, before we wrap it up?
As always, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have interest in Savage Sword of Conan's magazines, check out my video today. It's basically a very long recorded claim sale. And number 1 through 5 are gone. They were claimed today.
Wow.
And about 4 or 5 other issues have been claimed so far as well.
$10 a pop.
Just today,
right?
since the video came out. So
Wow.
if you have any interest, jump on there, check them out.
$10 a pop, right? Claim. Boom.
Very cool.
Done.
Yep. Just email me, see if they're still available, and I go by the order the emails come in, and it's easy.
Cool.
And then Saturday I'll be doing a claim sale, but the following week will be my 1-year anniversary on YouTube for
Wow.
doing Cheap Comic Collector.
Congrats, Rob.
So check that out because there's going to be giveaways and so on and so forth in 2 weeks. So
Awesome.
I don't know what yet because every giveaway I've started to set up has fallen through.
Things don't always happen the way you plan.
Yeah, I tried getting that that pop-up book that Easy was showing last week. You're right.
Oh,
I ordered it.
Those were great.
3 days later, they canceled it on me, refunded my money. No explanation, no messages. I just get a refund. And I'm like, so I immediately get on there and order what I thought was the pop-up book.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for the pop-up book, be careful because there's another book that looks exactly like it with the exact same size, the exact same artwork, but it's not a pop-up book. It's just a graphic novel.
Okay.
So I ordered 2 of the graphic novels thinking they were the pop-up books, so I'd have one for the giveaway. And then when I went to check on shipping, I realized my mistake that it wasn't a pop-up book. So I went on again and ordered the pop-up book. So I do have one coming.
Yeah.
But I'll have 2 graphic novels to give away. And
well, that's cool.
If Savage Sword #1 hadn't been claimed by the sale, I was going to give it away as a giveaway.
That's what you said on your video.
And it got claimed immediately today.
Yeah, I think once you said that, you're like, oh yeah, $50. That's a good deal for that. That was high grade, you know.
Yep. So, but we'll find something. If nothing else, I'll just give away another box of comics. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
we'll find some stuff. So, and the other one I was going to do a Man of Steel 1 through 6 because I had a set of that, and that just got claimed in a trade this past week. So.
Oh wow! Well, congrats on that, man.
But we'll have something to give away. So
cool. Hey, anyone have any ideas? You know that DC no longer has Justice League out. Oh wait, someone does. That would be Higgy. He's got a great idea for Justice League. Bring them back and have Hawkman on the team. Then start kicking butt. Right? I thought you'd say, thought you'd say something like Hawkman leading the team. You know. I don't know how well that would go, but yeah, dude, bring back the Justice League for sure. Okay, Will, what you got something to say, bro? Would you like to,
Yeah, sure. Today I was on this show, so that's awesome. Thank you, guys, everybody, for watching. It's always a fun time here with my fellow hosts. It's phenomenal. I just love looking at all the comics, and then I always feel inferior afterwards because I'm like, I have no books from like 19. Anything before 1980. So,
at least you read your comics, Will. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't. It's not like I'm buying them to like turn around and sell them. I love every book I read. I pretty much,
you're a true comic lover.
And I do it like my local comic shop guy's like, he's like, you are a hybrid because he's like, somehow you collect comics and you're almost like a guy who chases comics like a flipper, but he's like, you don't sell anything. So you read everything. It's like he's like, I'm confused by your comic collecting. I'm like, I just buy what I think is going to be cool or what I think is cool, And
I wish I was smart like a speculator. I sometimes think CGC, guys. I could throw money around. Why not do that? But if I chase the money, it takes the fun out of it for me. Maybe but I could understand going after those grails. That's what it's about,
Exactly. And I can say like I have that. But yesterday I dropped a preview of the books that came out today. So if you still are confused as to what came out today after that huge stack of books I showed, you go back to that video. Tomorrow I should be releasing a video on Nick's Kicks and Comics. Did a $65 mystery box. So it was actually a decent box. If you watch the 1011, which I was on yesterday, you'll see one of the books that came out of there.
That was actually really cool stories, man. You were saying. I love that Amazing Spider-Man 50 story. I've heard it more than once. It's cool.
Oh, it's a fun story. But yeah, that's the cool thing about that show is you get to pick some comics that have stories behind them. So that was fun to do that. And check out Monday Night Raw Books if you guys want to join in on the live action on Mondays.
Always a fun show. I try to join up when I can Monday nights.
So
couple comics.
10:00 p.m. Eastern.
You used to do a morning show, but you kind of dropped that.
I did. I did afternoon delight.
Yeah.
it wasn't really. It was a good show, and I'm thinking about bringing it back. What happened was that show kind of started towards the tail end of the pandemic, so it was still like people were still home. So
Oh yeah.
it was like, what am I going to do? But it was meant to be like for people working from home or something who had a lunch break. You know,
Yeah.
it started around 12 and around 1 or somewhere in that time period. Sometimes it'd only be a 15-minute show. I might bring it back, you know, check the format, and, you know, it really depends on my work schedule. But if I can have Mondays at my job are a lot of times actually free now for me because I end up working like on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Cool.
So because I work the weekends now, it kind of gives me my Mondays back. So I may start to do the show again on Mondays. It just really requires me to have a steady Monday off, or I can just switch it and do like a weekend.
I like
show.
your video editing. It's pretty good, you know.
Thank
Giggy. You know, is this thing on? Yeah, I love all that.
yeah.
It cracks me up every time. And I like that song. I like that one you did for Afternoon Delight too. If you don't think this song, right? What is that?
It's the best song you've ever heard.
That's some good stuff, dude.
Yeah, so
All right.
yeah, it's fun. I have fun I like doing the sound with the video, you know, mixing in some sound clips, some audio clips. So
and you were at that concert, right? Where you do the column, right?
Yeah, where it's just like that.
Yeah.
That was probably that is like my interpretation of me that night. Like watching.
Yeah.
You're seeing what I was watching, and then you're seeing what I was doing.
So it's real organic, real fun show. If you guys haven't checked it out, you know, they'll totally check out Monday nights, man. A couple comics, dude. I'm there.
Yeah, and that concert actually was that was Shaquille O'Neal, basketball player, who also played Steel. He was what was it, Henry Irons in Steel the movie, for people who are brave enough to go check that one out.
Cool.
So but yeah, that was Shaq. I decided to go see him because Shaq's a fun guy. Like, you know, he's an interesting character, and I was like, oh, Shaq's doing a concert. Like, what could he possibly do? And he was DJing. He was basically playing music off his laptop.
There you go. There you go.
It was
like you had a nice time, man.
It was a fun time. It was fun.
Well,
but
cool,
yeah,
guys. We're gonna sign off here. It's time to go. This has been Chaotic Comic Book Cover Displays and More with friends, and I do this show. I stream on Friday afternoons, like 12, and I do 12 Pacific, and I do I drop a video Monday. So that's the kind of thing, the routine I'm gonna keep up and see how it goes, right? So yeah, really appreciate the chat. Really appreciate everyone doing the rewatch, and we'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Deuces.
All right, see you later.